And once more, good morning.
Good morning.
And again, welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide. We know that nothing happens by chance, that we're all here by divine appointment, don't you agree? Yes, and for our viewing audience, you tuned in at this moment because there's something for you. And as we come together this morning to acknowledge the spirit of the season, the mystical, the magical, and the miraculous that goes before us and prepares the way, as we become a lamp unto our own feet. And what that means is as we become a light into the essence and energy of who and what we are. This morning I'm going to talk about the spirit of peace. And we celebrate the birth of Christ consciousness this month. We celebrate the energy of love, cradled in the manger of our own heart and soul. We acknowledge that there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are. We are co-creating with it. The Bible states, know that ye are gods, a little lower than the angels, that we arise to the occasion of our true spiritual stature, that we are told that it is good and what? Very good. Very good. This is our true self-image. And we learn along the way that we're not good enough, we're not, we're not old enough, right? We're not young enough, we're not this enough, we're not that enough. And it becomes programmed into the very energy and essence of who we are as we're growing into that personhood. So when I got into metaphysics, and you know my story of being raised in an alcoholic family, I had a lot to unlearn, and I was very insecure. And what I learned is that there was a power in the universe that loved me unconditionally, and that wanted the best for me, and that it was an energy. It wasn't an anthropomorphic God sitting up in a throne with a little black book saying, okay, that's two. Okay, watch it. There was an energy, a loving presence, the warmth, and there was also a mechanical law called cause and effect, which we refer to as karma, don't we? We talk about good karma and bad karma. But there's really only karma, and there is really only experience, right? So it's not good experience or bad experience, it's just experience. It's what we needed to learn along the way to get to where we're going. Now, Kathleen Ryan Hyde wrote a book many years ago called Pay It Forward. It became a movie, and Kevin Spacey and Helen Hunt and that darling little Trevor, they won awards for that. And what was so wonderful is that it was about energizing good. It was about paying it forward. It was about random acts of kindness and senseless acts of beauty. It was about acknowledging that there is a light in the world and that each of us is a light igniting. We'll touch one person who will touch another, who will touch another. And suddenly there is a great light where there was only one light. And as the Buddhists say, it is better to light one candle than curse the darkness. Because one candle, that one energy, has that power to light many, many candles. And that we light the candle within one another, that energy. So when they were doing a whole study on Pay It Forward, and it became the science of good deeds. And out of that became the science of the greater good. And there is a founder, and he talked about the GEN principle. J-E-N, this is important. J-E-N, GEN, the principle of the greater good. The principle of looking at the good, praising it, and allowing it to unfold in a greater way. It was the completion of good deeds. But it was the GEN ratio is also the principle of the completion of bad deeds. So that there is a greater consciousness on the planet. Now, this founder of the Foundation for the Greater Good did a whole study, and this came from Confucius, the GEN, J-E-N principle of the greater good. So many things came out of her book, Pay It Forward. And she said Time magazine, interestingly enough, said that it was an idealistic Ponzi scheme. She said they meant it as a criticism, but I thought, great, this is an idealistic Ponzi scheme, and we turn the pyramid upside down, right? And the greater good goes to the top, and it energizes the entire planet through these random acts of kindness. And there was an interview done where people, just on the street saying, what is the nicest thing that anyone ever did for you? What is the nicest thing anyone ever did for you? And how people would bubble up and say, of course, I want to really thank my parents and thank this one and thank that one. But one woman said, it was amazing. I befriended this older couple in my neighborhood. And they would sit on the, when people used to sit on the front porch in rocking chairs and those swings. I remember those. And she said, I would go by and I would talk to them every week, and we developed a relationship and a friendship. And then one day, the wife came to me and she said, my husband was put in the hospital and I can't drive because of my eyesight. I don't know what to do. She goes, I'll take you to the hospital. So she said, I began taking her to the hospital every day for 1 year. I loved her. I adopted her as my honorary grandmother. And her name was Patty. She was an event planner. And every day she would go and take this darling friend, elderly friend, to the hospital to see her husband, and he passed away. And their relationship continued for 10 or 11 years. And what happened was so interesting. When she passed, the attorneys contacted her that this couple, this woman, had left her home. Now, she said she was a friend and someone that I loved. I never expected this this amazing, beautiful home to be left to me, nor did I do it with any ulterior motive. And what was so fascinating is that when her husband was on the planet and they created their will 12 years prior, I love this, they included leaving the house to this young woman. And she said, I would have, done whatever I did anyway, but the nicest thing that anyone has ever done for me is leave me their home. And it was so deeply, deeply unexpected. And they went just randomly asking people, what is the nicest thing that anyone has ever done for you? And one man said, someone gave me, he was a restaurateur, he said, someone gave me a ticket for the Burning Man, which is in Nevada City, a black rock, and they burned this great, amazing Burning Man, and with that burning there is an energy of releasing what no longer serves us. People write their notes and they throw it on the Burning Man and they let go and they let God do what God does best by means of them, and they release what no longer serves them. And it was interesting. Oprah did a series called Belief, and they did a whole moment on the Burning Man where a widower and his daughter went to release the pain and the energy of losing his wife and his firstborn daughter. And they were both so heartbroken. And the daughter that lived was the mother's favorite. And so she missed her mother terribly. And the favorite of the dad was the daughter that passed. And so they were suddenly thrust together through their grief. And they went to the Burning Man to release this energy and to really find a relationship within themselves. And out of their grief, they found each other and realized that anyone we have ever loved is really a part of our lives, the energy of our lives. My little Sir Lancelot, my little 14-year-old Shih Tzu, passed away in my arms on Thursday. And as I held him and felt that energy and that relationship that we had, and he was an indomitable little spirit, and he was a character, and I held that energy knowing that as he crossed over that rainbow bridge, and the other two, my other two dogs that were his brother and sister, essentially, that he was greeted, and I knew that, and I could feel that. And of course, I was very emotional. And when we release things, we allow that emotion to flow. And we realize how grateful we are for every relationship that has ever touched our lives. Energetically, the spirit of peace is to know. When Jesus said, my peace I give to you, my peace I leave with you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. You believe in God. believe also in your own Christed nature. And what he said, believe also in me. He didn't need the personality. He was Jesus of Nazareth. He became the Christ. As his humanness gave way to the divine, the Christ consciousness arose, triumphant and victorious. And he said, be of good cheer. I have overcome. I have overcome the world of judgment and criticism, lack, limitation, and scarcity. Be of good cheer. I have overcome. Every time we get it, we have overcome. Every moment of enlightenment that we experience, we have overcome. We have overcome the appearances, the conditions, and the effects that loom up in our experience that most of the time we give our power away to. Be of good cheer. I have overcome the things of this world. I no longer give my power away to those things. I and my Father are one. Think about it. The oneness with Spirit. I and my Father are one. When we feel that oneness and we can let everything else go and not carry into this new year energetically anything that no longer serves us. That was then and this is now. And this is where we are. So as we look into the energy of our own hearts and souls and say, I am so grateful for all the wonderful things that have crossed my path. I am so grateful. And a couple said they had gone to see the movie Pay It Forward. They watched the film. And they were coming out of the theater and they saw an envelope on the ground. They opened it up. There was no stamp. There was no address. But inside was a check. And there was a little note with a check. And the note was to a company for a car payment. And she said, I can only pay half of the fee now. Please do not repossess my car. And so there was like $269 made out to whatever this company was that was holding the paperwork on her car. So what they did, there was, it had her name on the check, it had who it was to, and it had the little envelope that, gives the account number and all that when you're paying on something. They kicked in the other half, addressed it, sent it off, and sent her a little note. We know you're probably looking for your check to the car company, but what we want you to know, that this month is handled. Just pay it forward. Do a kind deed for someone else. That's all we ask. Just pay it forward. And as we pay the good, that Gen principle within us, the all good energy, as we pay it forward, the universe makes its round to us. Remember, be not deceived, God is not mocked. As you sow, so shall you reap. What that means is what? It means that there is a cause and effect relationship. It's cause and effect. It's just as you sow, so shall you reap. Go with the highest thought. Go with the energy that makes a difference. One other man was so cute. He was a homeless man, and he said somebody gave him money for his rent. He said, it's the nicest thing anyone ever did for me. I'm homeless, I get cold, and this person came up and just, wanted to know what they could do, and I said, well, it'd be nice to pay the rent. And he said, you got it. At that moment, that's the nicest thing anyone ever had done for me. So as we look at the nicest thing, it's always about the gesture and the extension of our love, isn't it? And one oncologist, an MD, said the nicest thing that ever happened to him is this beautiful woman came up, smacked him right on the lips and said, it's my birthday! And I just wanted to kiss the first person I saw. Because that's the nicest thing anyone ever did for me. So when we're feeling this energy in the spirit of peace, let's keep our conversations in heaven, right? All this gossipy little stuff does not serve us. That melts away life force energy. All that little stuff, it's just icky. It's just icky stuff. It's sticky. Don't get any of it on me. And I don't entertain gossip. It's just not part of my reality. It's not where I want to go. So when we keep our conversations in heaven, we don't attract it either, right? We don't attract that kind of stuff. We attract, hey, You know what happened to so-and-so? It is so fantastic. They won the lottery. And we're so happy for them. It happened to us. Your success makes mine possible. My success makes yours possible. I'm as happy for you as I am for me, because there's only one of us, right? There's only one of us. So on this glorious day, as we come together in the relationship of knowing whom we live and move and have our being, that when she got up, you know, and pay it forward and said to the 12-year-olds, here's your assignment. She wrote it on the board. Do something that will change the world every day. Do something that will change the world every day, to a group of 12-year-olds. And they began the random acts of kindness and the senseless acts of beauty and energy. So we have a choice. Choose ye this day whom you will serve. God, life, truth, beauty, upbeat stuff, good stuff, or something lower than that. Mammon, the Bible calls it. It's ego. It's just ego stuff. So today, we go within and we acknowledge the spirit of peace. My peace I give to you. My peace I leave with you. Not as the world giveth, because the world is going to always, you turn on the news, that's the world. Every wrong thing that's going on, every sensational little thing going on. Not as the world giveth, give I it to you. Oh, let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. You believe in God, believe also in your own Christed nature. Your own beauty, your own truth, your own aliveness. Trust yourself. Trust yourself and that energy in which you came into the planet to make a difference. Because energetically, we're only going to take our consciousness with us when we leave the planet. So let's heal what needs to be healed. Let's reveal what needs to be revealed. And let's release what needs to be released to its native nothingness. Because it has no power. The power is within us. The peace that passes all understanding. So I want you to know that I am so grateful to be with you this morning of challenge and this morning of opportunity, because what is a challenge? It's an opportunity, and we're all here together, and that's what is important. The nicest thing that ever happened to me is Interfaith Spiritual Center worldwide. All of you, all my family, my extended family, my spiritual family is the nicest thing that has ever happened to me. And I know where we're going. Do you? We are going higher yet. Where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. And so it is. God bless you.